it's Lauren. So last time I talked just like as an overall about how some of the RTOs that I work with and work for are managing the COVID outbreak. What I wanted to talk to you guys about this time is how you're supporting your staff. So obviously, you know, you might be dealing with staff layoffs, you might be dealing with staff reducing in hours. You may be, just dealing with staff that can't come to work because, they have, a child in the house or an at-risk person at home and things like that. So I wanted to have a little bit of a chat about how you go about managing your staff's mental health. And there are a huge amount of resources available out there at the moment in relationship to being able to do this. But I think it's really important to have kind of a mental health strategy for yourself and for your staff. So my situation is that I am teaching my kids from home. I've got a 6-year-old and a 12-year-old. I've got 5 RTOs that I work for. That I'm helping to manage through different varied levels of crises. And so, lots of working up late and things like that. And I've got a 93-year-old grandmother who I'm the one who's taking, her groceries for, and we're kind of the lifeline. So we're being pretty isolated outside of seeing her. To make sure that there's no sort of risk to her accidentally through us. So that's obviously huge. Everyone's dealing with a huge amount of changes at the moment. I guess one of the first strategies that I have for dealing with these sort of things is I actually put together a personal stress management plan for myself. This was a check process for me to kind of go, okay, what are the signs that I know that I'm starting to feel overstressed? What questions do I need to be asking myself to kind of go, okay, this is where my stress level is sitting at. Am I coping? Am I not coping? Because one of the things that we do as RTO managers, as compliance consultants who are out there to fix problems, is that, we fall to the background and everyone else and everything else becomes more important than us. And look, I understand that to a certain extent. That's absolutely fine. But if you're not coping, you're not going to be able to help your staff cope. And it's really important to have that recognition. So I know that over the Easter weekend, I literally took 48 hours away from my laptop, from my phone. I didn't answer questions. I didn't answer emails. I literally did not look at anything. I don't remember the last time I actually did that, but I knew that was necessary because of the how many hours I'd been doing before that. So, whether it's a personal stress management plan, whether it's just a checklist for yourself, whether it's taking 5 minutes and kind of, twice a day going, how am I coping? What is my body telling me? Listening to your heart rate, figuring out your breathing, thinking about how you're talking to yourself. Thinking about your tone with others. These are really good things to be doing. So first of all, you've got to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others. And having strategies for that, is it a walk around the block? Is it heading out the back and doing 5 minutes of yoga? For me, I've got a Shakti mat that I use. It's incredibly painful, but I actually do find it really, really relaxing for me. We take our dogs for a walk every day at the park. That's probably another big one for us. And we've got 3 nights a week where we've got device free. Nobody in the family is allowed to talk or be on a device. And we do puzzles, we build things together, we do Lego, and we're literally just there present with each other, connecting. So those are some of the strategies that I'm using. Everyone's going to have different strategies, but you need to make sure that you've got processes in place for yourself. The reason why I say you need to do that first is because then I've gone and talked about this with my staff. So I've done both group check-ins and I've done individual check-ins with all of my staff to make sure to kind of go, okay, how are you coping? What are you going through right now? What's your circumstances? How do you know when you're going to be feeling stressed? How am I going to know when you're feeling stressed? What are some of the things that you need to do? I know that I've had to tell staff to turn around and go, no, stop what you're doing. I know that this is a priority, but I need you to go for a walk and have an hour away, because I can hear how stressed out you are. I've taken the extra effort to make sure that when we've had, staff who've had family members who've had medical, issues that they've, I've done the extra phone calls and the extra check-ins. So by knowing, by talking to all of my staff about what their situation is, what the signs are that we need to look out for them, and what things that they can do to support them, they've gone through and done that check process with themselves. That's working really well for us. I do a group check-in with each of my groups. So like we've got, a curriculum development group, we've got a trainer group, we've got an admin group, we've got a mentor group, and I try and do check-ins with them every week, every 2 weeks at most, as a big full group, to talk about the group issues that we're facing. What are some of the strategies that we can come up with? What's working, what's not, where do we need to make tweaks, that sort of thing. And then we're also using weekly check-ins as well, just over the phone, just to check and see how they're doing, and text messages and stuff like that. But we're utilizing the Zoom at least once a week, so that we've got that face-to-face contact of, hey, what's going on? How are you? What do we need to be doing in order to work with this? That's what I found has worked really well so far. Obviously, for our bigger organization, we're very fortunate to have had a mentoring program in place beforehand for our students. So we've adapted that mentoring program. Very fortunate to be partnering with ECU and Curtin. I know that ECU and Curtin and several other university providers who deliver things like social work, youth work, are now struggling. So if you are looking at setting up, or would like to look at setting up, a similar sort of program, please get in contact with me. I'm more than happy to put you in contact with the people that we talk with, to see whether or not you guys can organize something similar. But this has been a great process whereby students are getting resources, they've got a good load of training with them, and then they're helping to support, trainers and students and things like that as well. So there's a range of ways that programs like that. If not, make sure that you've got a list of all of the services that students can access, things like Lifeline, things like, the COVID health check lines. So have an FAQ sheet. If a trainer identifies that your student is experiencing some mental stress, who is it that they can actually call to get some additional help and support from? If the student does think that they might have symptoms, who is it that they're going to call? So make sure you've got that call list at least for your staff, so that they can pass on to students, because we are seeing significantly increased levels of stress within society. It's an absolutely insane time for a lot of people. So if you've got that kind of really quick go-to list of, okay, here's all the support services that are out there, here's who you can call, then that's going to make a difference. Again, if you don't have that list, I'm more than happy to send one through to you. I'll send you through one that kind of we put together for us, that I've put together for students, because it's just good to have something to hand to kind of go, I can see that you're in distress. I may not have the skills to be able to deal with that, but here's a bunch of people who are, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. It's totally natural for you to be experiencing stress, and there's people out there that can help. On that note, it's okay to be stressed out. This is an absolutely insane situation. It's unprecedented. It is absolutely okay for you to be feeling stressed out. If you are feeling stressed out, please make sure that you call someone, reach out. If you don't feel you've got anybody else to reach out to, send me an email, and I will do anything that I can to help. But every life matters, and we will get through this together. Take care.